Howdy, this is Scott Francis, and today we're going to be discussing if-then statements in the Java language. I will be using VS Code as my programming environment, and not sure which version it is, but one of the more recent ones. We're going to start off by looking at the syntax for a basic if-then statement and a couple variations on it. Here we're looking at the syntax for a if-then statement, or well, just an if statement for this time. So, as you can see here, we start with if, all lowercase, as is important, because it's Java. Then we'll have an open parentheses, and then an expression here that's a boolean that will give us a true or a false. That's very important. If it's true, it will execute what's in here. If it's false, it will skip past all this and go to whatever's down here. So this is just the very basic if-then statement. Here we have a open, it all needs to be enclosed in this open bracket is the start of it, then a closed bracket to show that's the end of it. Gotta have both of those if there's more than one line of code in here. And while a tab here is not necessary, it is good practice to have. Next, we're going to have an else on it. So an else always comes after an if. So basically, if this is false, then else will always activate. And so, as you can see here, this is only executed if this expression is true. If this is false, instead it goes on here, executes everything within these two brackets. And now for another version, we have the else if. So, same thing we had earlier, executes as true. However, you can also put an if in the else. That's basically just what an else if is. So basically you get another expression here, another boolean, and then if this, so basically if this one's false and this one's true, this gets executed. However, if this one's false, this one's also false, then that's the only time this else will activate. It's very important to still have these curly braces, because that's how we know whether or not it will know what code is supposed to be part of it. And I forgot a tab here, but there should also be a tab in that location. And here's just a couple examples, or sorry, no. And here's one final thing, the nested if statement. So inside an if statement, you can put another if statement, and then just like how you could put an if inside that else, as we saw earlier. So basically, this one will only execute if both are true. Unlike how the else from earlier was, it will only execute if everything above is false. This will only execute if both those are true. And yes, you can nest in else's and if else's in here too, and get all sorts of funky things. And here's a couple examples of just some Boolean expressions. This will not cover everything, just a couple random ones that some people may find useful. Or just random examples, so it can be integers and stuff like that, or it can be stuff with strings and characters, or it can be with a bunch of variables and stuff like that. Here's an example of a quick if-else example I threw together. So up here we start by initializing the variables that we're going to use, a and b. Right here are the lines that will only execute based on whether or not a is greater than b is true. So a is 2, b is 3. A is not greater than b, so this will not print, but so then that it will go down to here and print this. But because this is not within any of these curly braces, this will always execute. So let's show you how that works by running it in the debug console. Running it in the debug console, there we go. As we can see, because as 2 is not greater than 3, it prints b is greater than a, which is right, then it prints out huzzah, because that's right there. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.